brand new Albaz Despia is taking over the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. This deck is absolutely fire, and in today's video, I'm gonna showcase you guys the God tier Albaz Despia deck profile and the bread and butter combo that you must know if you want to take over the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG metagame. Without further ado, let's begin! Wait. Before we get started with today's deck profile, the spring collection is now available at txx1.com. We got the pink spring edition deck box. I don't know if this is sold out yet, but the leather smells absolutely amazing. Now we got, of course, the tan gray spring edition deck box as well, available on tx1.com. We got brand new holographic spring edition sleeves. I know you guys will love these as well. Another one. So what are you guys waiting for? Make sure you guys get your deck boxes, sleeves, and many more today in the link down below at tx1.com. The link will be in the description box below. Not sure if these are sold out yet, but come on, get it while you guys still can. All right, guys, start with the monster real quick. We're gonna play, of course, triple copies of the best Despia monster in the entire deck. Triple copies of Alibert the Jester Despia. This card is absolutely phenomenal. What it does is that if this card is normal summon or special summon, you can add one branded spell and trap card directly from your deck to your hand. And the secondary ability is absolutely powerful because if a face-up fusion monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, while this card is in the graveyard, you can target one effect monster opponent controls, special summon this card from your graveyard, negate the targeted monster's effect until the end of this turn. So not only does it searches any branded spell or trap card whenever it's special summon, but it also gets to negate a monster effect on the field as well, which is absolutely incredible. The really powerful thing about this deck is that once it snowballs, right, you basically win the entire duel, and it's really hard for your opponent to catch up while you have all your resources in the grave, such as Alibert. So Alibert is absolutely phenomenal. Just one card provides you with so much follow-up for the following turn. So triple copies of Alibert, absolutely mandatory. Next off, you're gonna play, of course, 2 copies of Despian Tragedy and 1 copy of Despian Comedy. What Tragedy does is very simple. If this card is sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, you can add 1 Despia monster from your deck to your hand, except for Despian Tragedy. You can banish this card from your graveyard and target 1 branded spell or trap in your grave, send it to your side of the field. You can only use 1 effect of Despian Tragedy once per turn. So this card basically gets you access into any of your Despia monsters whenever sent to the graveyard via card effect, whether or not you use it for a fusion material, which is ideally the way that you're going to be able to trigger off Tragedy's ability to add any Despia monster directly from your deck to your hand. But not only that, it recycles your branded spell or trap cards from your graveyard directly to your side of the field, which is absolutely amazing. Next, we got Despian Comedy. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a face-up Despia card you control, quick effect, you can discard this card, negate that effect. So Despian Comedy is one of those cards that helps you play around effect veiler and also impermanence whenever you normal summon or special summon your Alibert. So that way that your fusion plays can go off. So this card protects you from getting veilered and also imperm, which is absolutely amazing. And its quick effect is that you contribute 1 fusion monster, special summon this card from your grave, which is absolutely phenomenal. So the 3 Despians, 1 Comedy, and 2 Tragedy. Last but not least, you don't play, of course, the 1 Ad libitum of Despia. What this card does is that during your main phase, you can make all monsters on the field gain attack equal to their own level times 100 until the end of your opponent's turn. What's important about this card is that if this card is in your hand or field, is used as a fusion material and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can target one of your Despia monsters or level 8 or higher fusion monster that is banished or in your graveyard, except for ad libitum, and special summon it. So this card is able to recur back your big fusion monsters from your banished zone or also from your graveyard, which is absolutely phenomenal. There are so many cool combo plays that you can utilize with ad libitum of Despia. This card is very powerful. Last but not least, we're going to play, of course, 2 copies of Fallen Albaz. You guys already know what Albaz does. This card is absolutely phenomenal, and especially with the new support with branded fusion, this card is just absolutely insane. The fact that you can also fuse monsters to your opponent's side of the field is absolutely ridiculous. So Albaz, really important to play in the deck. Next off, for your hand traps, I feel like this lineup is very, very versatile. I play 2 copies of Ash. I play 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, 2 copies of Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansions, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, and last but not least, 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence. I'll explain to you guys why I play 2 of each copy later on once I progress through the spell card lineup, but I feel like this lineup right here just covers the most ground in my opinion, and especially against the mirror match, I want to have as many cards against the mirror match as much as possible. And even against decks like Prank Kids or Braves, I want to make sure that I have enough hand traps to deal against those specific matchup. And also at the same time, Ghost Bell is really good against those DPE based decks, right? So Ghost Bell is just absolutely phenomenal. And this lineup, in my personal opinion, is just just absolutely perfect. And the last hand trap I'm playing the deck is, of course, the one Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. You guys can play a third Ash if you guys would like, or any other hand trap like DD Crow or Skullmeister, whatever you guys prefer. But I feel like just like a extra Ghost Mourner as an additional effect dealer is just absolutely phenomenal. That's pretty much it for my hand trap lineup. Next off, of course, the two bricks you're playing is, of course, one Destiny Hero Dasher and one Destiny Hero Celestial, because we're playing the DPE package in this deck. I'm not playing the Hexio to make Dragoon. I feel like this pure version with the DPE is by far more superior than the Dragoon version. I feel like playing the Dragoon version gives you a higher chance of obviously bricking, because you're obviously including more bricks in your deck, and also at the same time, the extra deck space is super duper tight, especially for this specific variation that I'm playing right here. So all of the personal preference what you guys want to play, but I feel like, you know, the DPE package is absolutely mandatory. Next off, for your fusion spells, triple copies of Branded Fusion. I don't know who created this card. I don't know who in the Konami department decided that was okay for this card to ever be released. It's ridiculous. It makes sure all fusion looks like garbage. And what this card does is that fusion summon one fusion monster that mentions Fallen Albaz as materials from your extra deck, using two monsters from your hand, deck, or field as fusion materials. Your opponent doesn't need to control an extra deck monster. Literally, fuse from your flipping deck. Which is insane. So 3 copies of this card. You want to see this card every single hand. The best card in your deck. Next off, triple copies of Branded Opening. Absolutely amazing. You see Branded Opening, that means you see your Branded Fusion. Triple copies of Branded Opening. Next off, of course, your Fusion. Double copies of Branded in Red. I felt like 2 is enough. Throughout testing, I felt like I never really needed the third one. And with the addition of Branded Fusion, I feel like 2 is just the perfect ratio for me. Next off, of course, the best fusion spell other than the Branded Fusion. Fusion Destiny. You know what? Ban Verte. Just ban Verte. You know what I'm saying? Really good. Next off, of course, to ensure that all my combo goes through, triple copies of Crossout Designator. That's why I'm playing a bunch of variety of different hand traps, so that way I can cover most grounds when it comes to utilizing Crossout Designator, especially against Ash Blossom, effectively impermanence. Crossout Designator just works really well against those specific cards, and especially since the fact of maining them, it also is good against the mirror match as well, right? So Crossout is just insane, and the fact that I have multiple hand traps in my deck to cover basically almost against every matchup, that means that my Crossout is more than likely going to be live against those decks that are playing the same amount of hand traps or the same amount of similar hand traps that I have in my deck. And what this deck's trying to do is trying to resolve Branded Fusion as much as possible. Once you resolve Branded Fusion, you pretty much just win the duel, right? So triple Crossout Designator is just absolutely insane. And of course, the one Call by the Grave and the one Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial using Tragedy, Search, Aliber, pretty much free. And Call by the Grave right here just ensures that your Branded Fusion will just resolve successfully. Last but not least, you want to ensure that you see all your fusion spells. So you're playing triple copies of Pot of Prosperity to dig 6 cards deeper into your deck to see your combo plays. And you know what? Without fusions, this deck does not function, right? So you need to be able to see your fusion plays as much as possible. Absolutely mandatory to play in this deck. And that pretty much rounds off for the main deck. Exact 40 card deck, 40 card clean. I feel like this is the best way to play the deck. All right, guys, off to the extra deck real quick. You're going to play, of course, 2 copies of the brand new Lubellion, the Searing Dragon. What this card does is super duper simple. If this card is Fusion Summon, you can discard 1 card, Fusion Summon 1 level 8 or lower Fusion monster from your extra deck except for Lubellion by shuffling Fusion materials mentioned on it into the deck from your monsters on the field, graveyard, and or face-up banished cards. So you basically just Branded Fusion, send Albas and Tragedy, search, and then you basically shuffle them back to make your Mirror Jade, which is absolutely ridiculous, right? So Lubellion is just absolutely amazing. It's one of the support cards that the deck definitely needed, 100,000%. Next off, you're going to play, of course, 2 copies of Mirror Jade. This card is phenomenal. What it does is insane. So you can only control 1 Mirror Jade, the Ice Blade Dragon. Once per turn, quick effect, you can send 1 fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard that mentioned Fallen Albaz as material. Banish 1 monster on the field. So this card right here is a non-targeting banish, and the fact that it's able to send you cards like Albion to the graveyard so that way that you get more recursion for the following turn is just absolutely ridiculous. Also, if this fusion summon card is an owner control, leaves the field because of your opponent's card, you destroy all monster opponent controls during the end phase of this turn. So this card is just like a built-in Regeki non-targeting banish, which is absolutely ridiculous, man. I can't believe this card exists, man. It's so powerful, man. Holy. Next off, of course, 2 copies of Masquerade. This card is so powerful. Against Prank Kids, you put 2 copies of this. They activate 7 cards. They lose the entire duel. It's like a Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon burning ability to just deal 1200 damage to your opponent whenever your opponent activates anything, right? So Masquerade, the Blazing Dragon, is ridiculous. Next off, of course, double copies of Albion. Really good. Essentially Miracle Fusion for the deck, which is great. And also, if it's in the graveyard, you basically get to set one branded spell trap directly from your deck to your side of the field. Next off, of course, double copies of Guardian Chimera. This deck would not be good if Guardian Chimera didn't exist. It's either pop 2, draw 1, or draw 2, pop 1. Which is absolutely phenomenal, right? So Guardian Chimera is really good at just interrupt your opponent's plays during their turn. You know, showcase you guys a crazy combo with just one card to get you access to Guardian Chimera, which is absolutely amazing. So 2 copies of Chimera, your bread and butter of the deck. Next off for your 1-ofs, 1 Despian Core Artist, a Predator Plant, Drago Sepalia right here, destroy a Phoenix Enforcer because of your Fusion Destiny. Last but not least, you're gonna play, of course, the Dark. Obviously, it's a DP infested game, so Dark just steals the DPE. And last but not least, 1 Predator Plant Verte. I know you guys are loving these beautiful holographic sleeves, so what are you guys waiting for? Get your sleeves today in the link down below at tx1.com. Man, she's gorgeous. Alright guys, welcome to the combo segment of this video. I'm going to showcase you guys the bread and butter combo that you guys can utilize when it comes to using this deck post Albaz Strike. So all you need is 1 Aliber and any discard. So 2 cards in hand, 1 Aliber discard. So essentially it's like a 1-card combo, which is absolutely insane, right? So without further ado, let's begin. First and foremost, you're going to normal summon Aliber, activate Aliber's effect. You're going to search your Branded Fusion directly from your deck to your hand. Now what you're going to do is that you're going to activate your Branded Fusion. If your opponent has no way to stop this, you have cross out. For this scenario, you can just cross out it. But for this case right here, we're just going to assume that your opponent has no hand traps. Branded Fusion resolves. You're going to send your Fallen Albaz and Despian Tragedy to the graveyard to special summon your Lubellion right here, which is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, guys? And remember, guys, if you guys haven't gotten your Spring Edition sleeves and deck box, the Spring Collection is available now in the link in the description box below. So inside and out holographic, man. I know you guys will love these sleeves. I promise you. Anyways, you summon Lubellion right here. Tragedy is going to activate its effect. You can go Tragedy Chainlink 2, Lubellion Chainlink 1. Tragedy is going to search your Ad Libitum directly from your deck to your hand. And you're going to discard a card from your hand to the graveyard to trigger off Lubellion's effect by shuffling itself and also Albaz back into the deck to fusion summon into your Mirror Jade. So this is your setup right here. It doesn't look like it's a lot, but what you can do now is that you can actually use Mirror Jade's effect to dump your Albion to the graveyard. Okay, dump Albion to the graveyard. You're going to banish your Aliber. This is really important because it plays around super polymerization and it also gets you a huge board breaker on your opponent's turn. So what's going to happen now is that you're going to proceed to end phase. You're going to trigger off your Albion's ability. This card's effect, if it's in the graveyard, you basically get to set a branded spell or trap card to your side of the field right here, which is going to be branded in red, and you have the Ad Libitum that's in your hand. So right now, this is your setup. And the really good thing about this board is right here is that this was only 3 summons. So you don't ever have to worry about the Miru with this deck right here. It's only 3 summons. You're going to be able to actually set up so many disruptions with just 3 summons. So now it's your opponent's turn, right? Remember, you already used this card's effect already to banish Aliber, so you won't be able to use it again. But what you can do is that, let's say you're playing against Prank Kid, okay? Your opponent normal summons a Prank Kid monster. What you're going to do is that you can actually activate your Branded in red. What you're going to do now is that you're going to add the Tragedy that's in your graveyard to your hand, okay? So add the Tragedy. Using Tragedy, Ad Libitum, and also the Mirror Jade that's on the field, banish these 3 cards right here to fusion summon into your Guardian Chimera. Guardian Chimera is going to come out. You're going to activate your Chain Links. Chain Link 1 will be Guardian Chimera, Chain Link 2 will be Despian Tragedy, and Chain Link 3 will be Ad Libitum of Despia. Chain Links resolve backwards. Ad Libitum will be able to target your Mirror Jade that's banished. Summon Mirror Jade to your side of the field. Despian Tragedy, Chain Link 2 are resolved to search your Aliber. And Chain Link 3, Guardian Chimera is going to be able to pop 1, draw 2. So you're going to draw 2 random cards right here off Guardian Chimera, and you're going to pop 1 card. And in this instance, you're going to pop your opponent's Prank Kid monster that they summoned, right? And let's say your opponent has an extender, Monster Reborn. If they activate Monster Reborn to bring back a Prank Kid monster, right, what you can do is that you can activate your Mirror Jade. Since it came back using Ad Libitum's effect, you can now use this non-targeting banishing effect to send another Albion to the graveyard to non-target banish, which is absolutely insane, right? A non-targeting banish, a pop, draw 2, and an insane follow-up for the following turn. Now, during your opponent's end phase, if your opponent were to end their turn, you can actually activate Albion's effect to set the Branded in red for the following turn. You're going to draw 1 card. So now it's your turn. You're going to draw 1 card. It doesn't matter what card you draw. Now you have insane follow-ups and a crazy OTK play that you have access to. So you can just go Aliber again. Aliber effect activates. Search Branded Fusion. Activate Branded Fusion. It just literally steamrolls from here. Which is insane. You can just do the same thing. Send Albaz, Send Tragedy to the graveyard. Make your Lubaton, make your Lubellion right here, and then you can just choose your chain links. And then you guys see how crazy this is, right? Just for the following turn, with just one card in the discard, which is ridiculous, right? You can go train Tragedy with trigger, Lubellion with trigger, summon Masquerade. There are so many crazy things you guys can produce when it comes to just using one single Aliber with this deck right here. So literally, guys, one card in the discard gives you a non-targeting banish, one pot with Chimera, and literally just 2 free draws, which is insane. And this is literally not counting the amount of crazy hand traps you might have in your hand. And guys, Yassine taught me so much about this deck. I've been learning this deck for the past couple months now, and I love this deck so much. I feel like it's gonna be my main deck of the format 100,000%. If you guys want to see more in-depth combos, be sure to check out the combo tutorial in the link in the description box below. Yassine will give you guys a step-by-step walkthrough on how to properly play this deck and all the possible combos you guys can do when it comes to utilizing the brand new branded support out of the Albaz Strike structure deck. All right, guys, that's pretty much the deck profile. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And this is your boy Sam from Team Sam signing out. Make sure you guys get your sleeves today, deck boxes, everything spring collection related in the link down below at tx1.com. All right, guys, it's your boy Sam from Team Sam signing out. All right, peace.